Hi everyone. So this is my SongShare project for American Vernacular music. And I decided to choose the song, it's a mashup between the songs Happy Days Are Here Again by Milton Agar and Get Happy by Harold Arlen. And this specific performance is done by Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland on The Judy Garland Show in 1963. So just a little bit about the composers themselves. Milton Agar was a vocal and jazz classical uh, composer who studied Tin Pan Alley pop and vocal music, and he kind of concentrated on those specific styles. And he actually got to work with Paul Whiteman for a little bit of some film music projects that he was working on. And his songs were some of the top-selling pieces in the 1920s and the early days of the Great Depression. Harold Arlen, on the other side, mainly focused around film music and standards and show tunes, as well as cast recordings to kind of fill his career. And he actually worked with Barbra Streisand and Duke Ellington throughout his career, as well as wrote music for Hollywood and Broadway. These two performers, Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland, are known from continent to continent as some of the biggest Broadway and film actresses across the time. Barbra Streisand, we all know, was a wonderful, wonderful performer. She started in vocal business by performing in nightclubs and soon transitioned to New York City. She never took voice lessons or even went to university or college, so it's incredible that she had that opportunity to go and perform and kind of start her career that way. Judy Garland, unfortunately, died in 1969. She was another Broadway film actress. She starred in Wizard of Oz across many other movies, and she actually starred in her own TV series, The Judy Garland Show, in 1963, which is where we first see this collaboration of Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland together filmed and recorded. So the two songs themselves are similar in theme, but actually a little bit different in background. Happy Days was actually a Tin Pan Alley standard, very, very similar to Auld Lang Syne. And it was very popular during Franklin Roosevelt's campaign, and it was seen as sort of a motivational song, saying that, happy days are here again, they're coming, we're getting out of this Great Depression area, we're starting to focus more towards the positive. And Get Happy was actually a Christian revivalist meeting song and refers to the anticipation of freedom, of going to the promised land and washing the sins away. And this was started kind of the beginning of Arlen's and Kohler's collaboration, which it continued across both of their careers. The texts for both the songs are very, very similar in theme, but they're made up a little bit differently. So the rhyme scheme for Happy Days is A, 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 and then the second verse we get a B, 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 A. All the verses are made up of 3 long phrases, and then that repeated Happy Days Are Here Again refrain that we see at the end of each one, with a bridge that sort of re-energizes the whole meaning and gets back into the verse. Same thing with Get Happy. The rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B this time, with 3 main phrases again, a short, short, and a long. And the repeated phrase Get Happy we see throughout the song, especially in the first phrase, in the first verse. As far as the music analysis, I've separated it into multiple sections, and I'm going to kind of quickly just run through those. So, the melodies, the vocal ranges are very, very similar, A3 to D5. One of them in Happy Days is kind of a moving all over the place, and Get Happy is very stagnant, it's very mid-ranged. The song is strophic itself, the same melody with different words each time, and a contrasting B section. It also has that catchy tune that sticks in your head. Like I said, the repetitive motif of Happy Days Are Here Again or Get Happy are repeated in each phrase, and it brings back the ideal of the lyrics. And when we get into the B section, from now on, both Judy and Barbara join together in unison to kind of move that melodic moment back into the call and response, and it's very, very powerful. The harmony itself is written in A-flat major, and the chord progression is really unique, actually. We move from a standard 1 chord to a minor 2, a minor 3, and back to a minor 2. So it has that moving progression through it. And we get to the second phrase through a 6 chord. To get into that second verse, we move from a 1 to a 5, simple procedure. We moved through a few different keys throughout, and one odd notation error that I found, we moved into C sharp major, E major, and F major briefly. But before we even get introduced to the flats in F major, we are introduced to a very, very interesting notational error where they start to use sharp accidentals, but we use flat chord names. And that was something that was very odd to me. I've never seen that mashup before, unless it was a big mistake. And then we finally move into B flat major, where it transitions into all flats. And again, the harmonic stop time sequence at the end brings the melodies to the close. For instrumentation for this song, the rhythm section is made up of a drum set, a bass, most likely a string bass rather than electric. We also hear the piano, some string instruments, probably a very small chamber orchestra, and obviously Barbara and Judy Garland. The overall tone color for the voices by Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand is kind of mimicking the sense of positivity. They start very soft and very, very simple at the beginning, and slowly as the song develops, they start to begin and play around with their own timbres and textures. And just, it's an awesome sense of musicianship that you get to see and hear from both of them. For texture, it's very polyphonic. There's multiple things happening at the same time, and this is kind of a unique first take at a mashup with taking two separate ideas and combining them to create something new. And this was very, very soon after cover songs were introduced in the 1950s. It's a combination of, for me, strophic form with ternary form. It's a simple AABA, but it also has the same music relatively every verse, just different words, which was very, very unique. Again, the B section re-energizes, and at the end, the coda section, the end, consists of a monophonic moment in the melody between Barbara and Judy, and then we get the homophony with the accompaniment. In conclusion, this song is just a wonderful, wonderful piece to listen to. Both Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand are fantastic performers. To me, this was an important piece of our American vernacular music because it shows so much musicianship, and there's so much to be said about two widely ranged musicians coming together and making something new and innovative. So it was an early example of a mashup which we haven't really seen in the studies that we've been doing. It was performed by two of the most important female performers in the musical industry during the 1960s, which is saying something because they're both fantastic. And overall, it spread a message of positivity throughout the musicianship, or through musicianship, during a time of social growth and revolutionary change. Between the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement going on, there was so much negativity and discord throughout society. And for them to step up and say, we're going to make something beautiful and spread some positivity through two different songs, that's pretty unique to me. And overall, it provides exemplars of two different careers, musical styles, and people coming together to do something special and creative. And they just shared a specific love towards each other and friendship that can't be matched by many others. These are the resources that I use in case you're interested in checking out some more interesting tidbits about their careers. And at the end of my slideshow, I've given you kind of my written analysis of the transcription. So feel free to take a look at that.